CNN tonight. Amid all of the confusion, all of the uncertainty about whether Russia will really invade Ukraine, I guess perhaps it's fitting that President Biden had announced to America today that we are prepared for anything, quote, no matter what. So what exactly does that mean? Does that mean prepared to be proactive, reactive? And what would a Russian war with Ukraine actually cost the United States? And what would it cost Russia in the end as well? Now, the president of the United States, he tried to manage expectations today, almost like a lawyer talking to their clients about what to expect and laying the groundwork, and signaling to the American people that we would not be caught flat-footed. But the president of the United States, well, he's well aware that there are televisions also in Russia. And it seems that he hopes that Vladimir Putin was one of those television viewers.
The United States is prepared no matter what happens. We are ready with diplomacy. We are ready to respond decisively to Russian attack on Ukraine, which is still very much a possibility. The United States and NATO are not a threat to Russia. Ukraine is not threatening Russia. To the citizens of Russia, you are not our enemy. And I do not believe you want a bloody, destructive war against Ukraine. If Russia attacks Ukraine, it'll be met with overwhelming international condemnation. The United States and our allies and partners will respond decisively. The West is united and galvanized.
You have to wonder if that entire speech, if it was played at all, particularly the part about the President of the United States reaching out and talking to the people of Russia, comparing perhaps what they would want to their president, Vladimir Putin, and what he wants, it seems. But President Biden listed a series of consequences for Russia if Putin does go through with any threatened invasion, like much tougher sanctions than back in 2014, and undermining Russia's ability to even compete economically at all. And remember that major new Russian-German gas pipeline, Nord Stream 2? Well, that'd be gone too. Now, all of this talk of the sanctions and possibilities, this in spite of Russia's talking now of pulling back its forces from the Ukrainian border. It seems President Biden isn't in, however, a trust but verify kind of mood. He's not totally buying any of it. NATO Secretary General, well, isn't either. Or, by the way, Ukraine's foreign minister, for that matter, who says his country has a rule. Quote, we don't believe what we hear, we believe what we see. And so what we're still seeing, frankly, is Russia moving forces around, amassing more than 150,000 troops circling Ukraine, and of course now Belarus. And Biden says the U.S. hasn't actually verified whether Russian military units are really in fact returning to their home bases after their drills, as has been claimed by Putin and the like. And though Putin he may say he doesn't want war.
Do we want it or not? Of course not. That's exactly why we put forward proposals on a negotiating process which should result in an agreement on ensuring equal security for all, including our country.
Of course not, he says. Of course not. He doesn't want war. He says he wants to negotiate. But if past his prologue, frankly, many are now wondering if diplomacy is possible here, or is it an exercise in futility? Well, for now, it seems President Biden, he still hopes that this can, in fact, be resolved diplomatically. Biden says, quote, we should give diplomacy every chance to succeed. But he also warns the U.S. will defend every inch of NATO territory with the full force of American power if Russia messes with the alliance. Now, Ukraine, of course, we know isn't actually NATO territory. So the U.S. won't put boots on the ground there. But the reality is the boots of thousands of our troops are no longer on American soil. They might not be in Ukraine, but they are being deployed to the neighboring countries of Ukraine to then bolster NATO. And even though Ukraine is not a NATO member, that's part of the entire crux of the issue, it hasn't actually stopped the U.S. and some of our allies from giving Ukraine the equipment and the training it might need to defend itself, albeit on a smaller scale. So the question really is, with all this happening, what is next? What are we to expect? How do we as Americans evaluate this? Was this new